everybody, X here. Today is brew day. I'm going to be brewing an IPA. I'm going to brew about 4 gallons. I'm going to keg about 2.5 gallons and bottle the rest so my friends can have some beer. It's also the first time that I'm going to use this new system that I got. It's called a Grainfather. It's an all-in-one system. It takes care of all the steps of the brewing. It's still a manual process, but apparently this really simplifies the process. So we'll see as I get through the day and see how easy it is. Couple of things with the system. I've seen a lot of videos, and one of the problems people have had with it is that it was designed in New Zealand, I believe is where they designed it, and they have a system that's 220 volts. Mine is 110 volts, and I understand that there have been problems with getting a really good rolling boil with that. I think for that reason, when I bought it, they gave me this coat, coat that retains the heat for it. That's usually $50, but they gave it to me free, and so that's supposed to really help get the boil going. Also, I live in Colorado Springs. We're at about 6,500 feet here, so that's also going to help since the boil temperature is a lot lower than it is somewhere where they're at sea level and so forth. Right now I have my mash water heating up. As soon as it's up to temperature, I'm going to go ahead and add my grains, and I'll show you that once I do that. Let me show you the unit a little bit. So this is the Grainfather, this is the controller. Now this particular controller here is the old one. They've come out with a new one that's more automated. That's not coming out in the United States until January or February, so I'll get that once they have it, but I wanted to go ahead and start brewing right away, so I acquired the unit. They're not going to make any changes to the unit. I've got my mash water heating up to around 160 degrees. Once I add the grains, it'll go down to about 150. So once I'm done with all that, I'll get back on and we'll go ahead and add the grains. Mash water up to temperature, so we're going to go ahead and start adding the grains. It's about 160 degrees right now. That'll lessen once I get the grains in there, so it's actually going to help me over here. We're going to get the grains in this mash water, so let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and move the camera up there. Alrighty. Alright, Zach, could you go ahead and slowly start adding the grains in? Ladle it in, yeah. Just, pour them in. You don't need to put it in the water, just get them in there. There you go. That's good. Go ahead. Consistency I want it, so what we do at this point is we're going to put this piece in and rest it right up against the grain bed. I'm going to squeeze it just right up against the grain bed there. Okay, we'll take off the grain stopper. Push this a little bit on here. Push that down. That's the overflow pipe there. Okay, so that's good. Lid on here, and we'll get this dude on here, and what's going to happen is it's going to recirculate the water that's in there through the mash. So hopefully this will really give me an improvement on, or get me a decent efficiency. And so at that point, I've got this set to mash. I'm going to go ahead and mash is on, and we will turn on the pump. And it'll start pumping through. And so we let that go for about an hour, and then we will mash out and start the boil. Okay, I'm done with my mash, so now I'm going to go ahead and start with the sparging process. So let's go ahead and start with that. One of the things I've done is I've already set it to boil, since it takes a while to get up to temperature. I figured I might as well do that while I'm sparging, and that way the wort is heating up. So highly recommend stepping on a stool of some sort to do this because it gets pretty heavy and you gotta lift it pretty high. So put that there and let the water drain out. Then once we do that, I'll get started with the sparging. I'm sparging now. I have my sparging water already up to temperature. It's about 168, 170 degrees. So I'm just going to go ahead and start the sparging process. Over here, I'll go from this side. I'll move the camera up. Just slowly pour this over the grain bed. And I'll just continue this process until I've used up all the sparging water that I've prepared. Waiting for it to get up to a boil. We're at 186 degrees. We should be boiling, I think, around 203. I'm also cooling off a sample, so I'm going to measure the original gravity for it. I need to get this down to 60 degrees or so. So once that's done, I'll go ahead and record those numbers. Right, we have a boil, and it's a pretty strong boil, so I'm pretty pleased with that at about 201 degrees. So now that the boil started, we're going to add our first hops. I'm adding an ounce of Columbus. We're going to just put that in there, and that'll be the only hop addition I'm going to do during the boil. That's my bittering hops, and then I'll also add some hops for flavor and aroma at the end of this. I'm going to actually dry hop this during second stage fermentation. So it looks like we're rolling. Here's the test. Check my original gravity here and spin that a little bit. There. So I'm at around somewhere between like 150, 152. And you know, that's lower than what I was expecting, but what happened was I took the grains out too soon, and if you can see in there, I probably lost about a quart and a half, maybe two of the wort there, and so that might affect that, but that's okay. This is still pretty good. So I was actually expecting somewhere around 155, so that should have been there, but it's not far off. Oh, sorry, it's not far off, so that's good. It's good. If I get my numbers right, we're going to be looking at somewhere, you know, around between 5 and 6% alcohol by volume with this beer. Boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the boiler and add the last, the finishing hops here. So I'm going to do that. So the finishing hops I'm using is Simcoe. That's one of my favorite. Now. And then after this, we'll go ahead and start the cooling process. So we'll get that in there. Whirlpool going here so we can distribute the hops evenly. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm actually sanitizing the chiller by running the wort through it. It's at boiling temperature, so that'll sanitize it. All right, at this point I am cooling the beer using the chiller here, and so that ought to take, I don't know, half an hour or so. I'm at about 151 degrees. I need to get it to about 70 degrees, 75-ish or so, and then I can go ahead and put it in the fermenter. Pitch the yeast, and then we're brewing beer. So far this has gone okay. I did run into a little issue when I started to sanitize the chiller, apparently I had a clogged, the flow pipe was clogged. Fortunately, I had already spoken to some folks on Facebook about things I could run into, and that was one of them. And the thing to do is to remove a ball valve in there, just to take it out so the valve doesn't work, but it does allow for a continual flow. So that was settled. Temperature's dropping. See how it goes. Okay, at this point my water is at the temperature I need to have it at to put it into the fermenter, so I'm going ahead and transferring at this point. So yeah, once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and pitch the yeast and close it up and put an airlock on it, and then we're done. I just got to clean up. All in all, I'd say about 6 hours to do the whole process, and a lot of that was just me figuring things out, watching the videos. There was this is a new system. I'm not used to it. I got to figure out the system in terms of having things clean at certain when I need them and so forth. But I think that once all this is said and done, I'll probably have my brew times down to somewhere between 4 and 5 hours. Couple of mistakes I made. I used leaf hops, which I prefer, but I should have used a hop bag. My filter gets a little clogged, and I got to go in there and kind of brush away the hops from that to keep the flow going. But otherwise, I'm really impressed with the system. There's a learning curve, but once that's all done, I think the system's pretty good. We'll see how the beer comes out.